I think we're live.
Oh, wait, sorry. My camera was off. Hey, good.
Y'all, sorry, we had some tech issues this morning, which is it was very random, but we figured it out.
I'm in space and I'm not in space. It's a sad day.
I like Lottie in space. It's a vibe.
I know. I was so excited too, because I was like, I got my fit on, like I was ready, and it's not happening right
Oh my
now.
God, it does. I get the fit choice.
Right? I'm sick of this basic blur, but
It's all right. You know, happy Sunday, y'all. We had some tech issues on this Sunday, but we made it.
yeah,
And we live, baby.
we made it and we live, and we appreciate y'all pulling up, tuning in. If this is your first time, welcome to Hear Us Out, Rhyver and Lottie,
What's up,
where we
y'all?
talk about all things music and media.
The blueprint.
The blueprint.
Hey, so what's on the agenda today? What did Twitter vote for this week?
Yeah, so per usual, you guys vote on Twitter and IG stories of what topic you want to discuss. And today it was mentorship, how to find a mentor in music and media. So that is what is on the agenda.
I love that. Yo, a very fire conversation, honestly. Mentorship is so huge. Like
Major.
the importance of mentorship is, yeah, it can help with a lot, especially when you're trying to get into this industry and you're trying to figure out how to navigate it, but you
Right.
may not necessarily know, like, what the heck am I supposed to be doing? Where, why, when, and what, how? You
That
know,
part.
so mentorship can be like, it's a huge asset. Especially when you can lock in a good mentor, and obviously we know that's easier said than done. We're going to talk about that today, which is exciting. Give some tips, tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what, like, you want to talk to us a little bit about, like, what are your thoughts on, like, the importance of mentorship and maybe how that's helped you? I know for sure you definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, for you guys mostly pretty much know what a mentor is, right? It's basically someone who's there to guide you on your journey. It's someone who is in a position or who has accomplished things or exudes a certain type of character, even that you are aspiring to as someone who's an upcoming creative or executive. So, the goal of finding a mentor is that they're going to be able to help you on your journey and make your trajectory a lot smoother than it could be without one.
Yo, that's facts. That's facts.
So
Definitely. And just being able to have somebody be a soundboard sometimes when you need to ask those questions.
Honestly and truly.
You know, like, or I love the saying, there are no dumb questions, because they truly
Dumb
aren't.
questions.
It's just a question, but having somebody where you can go to and ask those quote unquote dumb questions, those like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you provide some advice, some insight?
Yes.
But also, like, a mentor too is like, to me personally, I believe that a mentor is, especially in this industry, it's a little more than just going to somebody and asking them for advice. But for me, like, I identify people as mentors just from the strength of being able to, like, bear witness to their journey and learn from that.
Right.
So just someone who's like allowing for me to, like, kind of be eyes and ears on what they have going on. And, like, you know, I definitely consider my former bosses as mentors. They know, I tell them, like, because I got to witness, like, not like that, but everybody's learning and growing. It doesn't matter what level of expert that you are, mistakes still happen. So being able to learn from, like, missteps, oversights on their part, that was big mentorship for me. Just the vulnerability of me being able to witness them, like, do the thing. You know what I mean?
Do the thing. Do the thing. Sorry, I had to do it.
Nah, yeah, that's a word. I love the
and so, like, were all your mentors people that you found through work, or did you have people outside of that you would consider mentors?
No, so for sure, I would definitely say, I think it's a hybrid of both things. So for me, and I this is one of the cool parts. I have mentors. I'm gonna go back to the Lottie. I feed into the delusion. So I have people that are my mentors that don't know me. They don't know me. They've never seen me.
Jump at the gun now. Hold on.
Yeah, like, I have people that are my mentors that have never seen me. They've never met me. They don't know me. I just again, that's what I was
That is
saying.
the tea.
Bearing
That is the
witness to
tea.
people's journey, like you can learn a lot. Like I'm excited to meet them one day. You know, the mentors that I have that I've seen, and I've kind of like been like, okay, I really love how you're like building your empire, you're building your franchise. Like I talk about Issa Rae a lot because she's my mentor. Like,
Man.
like I have
Man.
watched her journey. Like, no, for real. Like when I think about it, because I'm like, yo, what she's done, like just watching how she's emulated every single thing, paying attention to the
A
like
million
trajectory of
percent.
her career over time, like how she literally like when she made the announcement about Hooray Media being what it is, I'm like, I learned so much just in watching
Dude.
her little announcement of that because she broke down like, here are all of the different avenues that I, as a woman and a creative and a Black woman at that, have been like interfacing in, and
That part.
here's how I'm bringing them all together. That was a huge mentorship moment for me because I was like, yo, okay, that's what I'm trying to do. I never knew that that was how you do it, though.
Dude, major. First of all, not to sidestep, I don't think there's one Black woman in entertainment who doesn't have Issa Rae like on the vision board or like.
No, that's, I agree with
She
that statement.
is that girl. Everything she does,
Literally,
everything. I'm
like,
just like, ah.
for sure. And I think because I worked in the industry in the capacity that I did, I had to, I guess what I'm saying is once you get into the industry and even when you're not in it yet and you're still trying to figure it out, my biggest advice, especially as a person, like I said, like I came into this industry, I didn't have no resources, no connects. I grew up in the hood. I had no access to this. All I could do was just identify people that I looked up to and just mark, okay, oh, I'm
A
learning.
million
Oh,
percent.
that's why she did this. That's why she did that. Because I didn't have in the beginning, I didn't have anybody to pick up the phone and call. Like I just had to figure it out. And from doing that, it ended up putting me in the right rooms and stuff like that. Cause I was like, okay, I see. Like they were able to build out their career because they went to this conference, like
Exactly.
Culture Con or an African,
Hello.
and they networked there. Okay, so I should be at those. Like, okay, got it. Like Revolt Summit, like, okay, I should go to that kind of stuff. I should ask questions in that space. And so when I started really getting in the conference bag, I would, once I got past that part and I was like, okay, conferences are a big way of finding mentors and getting connected to people who are, you know, may already be doing what you want to do. Then when I was there, I'm an introvert, I'm an ambivert. So introversion happens
Ambivert
when I'm in
gang.
the conference setting. I'm like, I gotta talk to people. I don't know them. They're gonna be like, do I have anything to offer in this conversation? I don't know. So I would go up to people like after I would hear them talk, or even just as I'm hearing people talk in conversations, and I would literally let them know, like, I am looking for mentorship. I'm trying to figure this out. And so that's kind of how I develop mentors outside of my bosses being my mentors, is like,
Right.
giving into the delusion, like your mentor doesn't always have to be somebody that you necessarily can pick up the phone and call, but it's just mainly someone that you can learn from, you can be enriched from, you can be enlightened from in any capacity. And that could just be as simple as reading a book that they've written. That could be as simple as, you know what I'm saying? Like, just there's a lot of different ways for me personally that
Very
I
much
think
that.
mentorship like exists. So yeah, I would definitely say that was like on the work setting. Obviously, and I didn't even initially call my bosses my mentors. It wasn't until we got to a certain point where I was like, I feel like I should specify this to you just because human to human, like I want you to know that I'm literally looking up to you and I'm like learning from you so that you know, and you have the opportunity to be like, oh shoot, okay, this girl's trying to learn from me. Let me actually like explain things maybe a little bit more, or, you know, like, oh, okay, once I said to my bosses, like, hey, I really consider you a mentor, then they were like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, then come on the strategy meeting. Like, let me explain to you why we're doing this.
Right.
Like,
They
why are we
start
doing
to like bring you in a lot of times. Yeah.
so it's so helpful. Like we say this all the time, shoot your shot. Like put it out there that that's what you're looking for. I don't half step when it comes to the mentorship. Like I say flat out, I'm looking for a mentor, because people sometimes, you know, the word mentorship does come as a lot when you're the person who someone is seeking out to be a mentor. And I've had people come up to me like, oh my God, will you mentor me? And I'm like, yo, like, definitely, but just know, like, just follow, just I'll bring you in as much as I can. But to me, mentorship is like that term can be a lot. So sometimes you can go to somebody and be like, hey, I'm looking for a mentor. And they may be like, ooh, no, I don't have the
They think it's a
capacity.
super hands-on.
And it doesn't have to be. It
At
doesn't always
all.
have to be. You just have to be coachable, learnable. Like you got to be willing to learn and be open. You know what I mean? Like,
And keep that line of communication as well.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So I definitely would say like I had two different approaches to mentorship. One that was like in the work setting, and then my mentors that, you know, straight up, I have a host of like Black women that I follow, actually just women of color in general, because they're actually not Black, just women that I follow on socials that I am incredibly inspired by. Some of them are literally my age. So age, I always have anything. It's not always people that are older than me. Some are younger than me.
Right.
They're just doing really cool stuff, going for it. And I have a lot to learn from that. So in my head, I'm like, my mentor.
Girl, yeah. And that's the end of the episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Nah, because you nailed that. You nailed that. And for someone like me who came from outside of music entirely, I didn't even know where to start with mentorship. My first mentors were just people who I followed on social media, or even who I saw on TV. Like I consider Rihanna one of my first mentors. I consider Beyonce one of my first mentors. I'm just like, wait, like the transitions that y'all have made in your music careers, and then also on the entrepreneurial level. I'm like, yeah, like I aspire. Yes, absolutely. And then also what's interesting for me is not even just seeing like, you know, the glitz and the glam of the celebs, but also people on their teams. Cause I'm someone who goes down the rabbit hole. I'm like, okay, who's the manager? Who's the producer? Who's the creative director? Who are the people that are behind this star that are making everyone
Those
go
are the ones you
listen?
want. That's who you want to.
They're low key approachable.
That's the reason why I said the comp. It's one thing. Yes, all of the celebrities, they do it. They don't do it alone.
They don't do it alone.
One thing to be your celebrity. Celebrities can be a mentor, but pay attention to who they've hired, who they've brought on, because there's a team that's helping them do that. And sometimes you got to think about it. The people that are not in the limelight, they have, can you imagine how many gems they actually have to drop? Because you think about it, celebrities get asked to talk on panels all the time. They're constantly giving.
And the cool thing is a lot of the people around them do panels too. Like they'll do talks
all the time.
No, let me give you a quick little story. So for those who know me, and maybe you don't know me, I'm a really big Jack Harlow fan. And I was really fascinated by like his ascent, because I had first seen him in 2017 at A3C. He was performing in Atlanta in a room of like maybe at most 50 people. It wasn't anything crazy happening. And then next thing you know, What's Poppin' comes out, he's huge, yada, yada, yada. So I had already kind of been doing some research on him, but I started to dig even deeper, because I'm like, yo, like they are making a lot of the right moves with this dude. I found out who the managers are. I found out who the publicist is. I found out who the market, like the producers, the executive producers, the A&R. I was like, I need to know who is on this man's team, because the execution is flawless because the right people are in position. So then I had seen, I follow his manager on Instagram, and I had seen in her stories that she was doing a talk with this organization called Girl Connected, which basically helps women who are looking to enter the music space. And it was a free talk. You just had to send an email RSVP. I signed up so fast. And I joined the webinar. It was free. It was really cool. You know, you're in the group chat with a bunch of other girls who are looking to come up. She's there giving her gem. She's telling her story. I never would have known the things it took for her to get to that level if I hadn't attended, because she low-key be in the cut. Like she'd be out here, but she don't be, you know, talking about herself a lot. So I'm just like, that's crazy. Fast forward to, he was on tour. I went to his show in October, actually won that show. Shout out to the internet for free. And I had emailed her not too long after that when something had happened, like I think Grammy nominations, whatever. And so I had emailed her because she had given her email in the webinar. So I wouldn't have had to email if it wasn't for the webinar. And I was just like, listen, I think you're amazing. So for those who don't know, I manage an artist. And I'm just like, listen, I manage an artist. Like everything that you've done is so inspiring to me. And I've taken notes on the things that you have executed to be able to see how I can replicate those things for my own artist. And when I tell you she responded the same day, I was so shocked. I was like, oh my God.
Don't underestimate. Let me tell you,
like she don't know me.
The
So
biggest hack, Lottie, you're talking about the biggest hack in this industry. As a, like, again, I'm on this right now. I am an artist through and through, but I worked as a manager for a minute and I was at agency for a minute. So like I saw firsthand, I'm like, oh, I have so much to learn on the artist front from, the celebrities that I look up to for sure. Like on an artist front, on a, branding front, like on a personal brand front, I look at different celebrities and on a like developing my careers and like what I want to build, I look at celebrities as mentors for that, right?
yeah,
However, I was also working with a lot of celebrities. So for me, the term celebrity is already hard for me in general, just because like I'm so untrained to think about them in that capacity because I couldn't, you work in it in the industry, you kind of have to remove that whole like you can't really do all of that. So because you're on their team now. So it's like it is what they're human beings, just like everybody else, because they are. But the biggest hack that Lottie's talking about right now that I love that you said is like accessibility. You have no clue. Like celebrities are by nature, safety, a lot of different reasons, they can't be as accessible. Their team, however, because they're low key, a lot of times people don't even really like, it depends on who they are. My former bosses are like, they're pretty well known because they represent so many big name people, but there are a lot of other managers that were at the firm that like, they're way more low key because they choose to be and they have so much to give. So they're always speaking on panels. They're always going and talking to stuff. They always give out their email. They will say, email my assistant, email this, email that. Like the
for
best thing you
real.
can do if you're looking for a mentor in this industry, I kid you not, y'all, like go to the conferences that you can, look at any panels, like look up on Eventbrite. They typically have some stuff. I know there's some events that sometimes you could probably get tickets to, maybe through like one of Live Nation's ticketing platforms. Like there's a lot of different ways that you can be looking up all of these different conferences, but going to the conferences and seeing the execs, like if you idolize a celebrity or you have a celebrity mentor or an influencer mentor,
You
look up
need
who
to know the
their team is,
team.
because they're being guided through that. Like I give all the flowers to Issa for sure, but her team is so cold. And I'm not just talking about her reps. She has business partners for all of the different ventures because she has a management company, she has a music supervision company, she has an event company, and then she has a production company. And then there's one more that I'm forgetting about. But so she has business partners that run each of those companies with her. Look into them too. Like just they're big. They may not be, household names like Issa, but they're big too. And you can get a lot of insight from going and looking at a panel that they're on. Number one, because it gets you access to them, number one. But number two, the other people that are going to be in that room on that panel probably are also people that could be your potential mentors strategy wise. Biggest hack. Like Lottie's talking about that accessibility. It's the biggest hack, y'all. Like for real, going and like just tapping in and saying, like, yo, Lottie said, like, she shot the email and the lady.
Bruh, same day. I was so shocked.
Yeah. What? After those events, because it's a part of like, you have to think about it too, like on their front, like that's business too. So it's like, it's a part of it. Like I just spoke on the panel because I chose, we got to pick and choose. People reach out to have us speaking on things all the
And
time.
if they're giving you their email, they're not opposed to
They're
you hitting
not, they
them up.
want you
There's a
to
reason
reach
why she don't
out.
got the email in her bio though, because the way these fans are set up, they can
She
go a little
chose.
crazy. But it's like
She gave it that day because she wanted you to, anyone who was there, you were there for a reason, the same way that she chose to speak that day for a reason. Like she wanted y'all to know that she was reachable. Sometimes those moments only happen at those types of things. And there are a lot of them that can be free. Like Lottie said, there are some that obviously you're going to have to pay for. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like every single thing you're going to get to do and all these conferences are the most affordable. But if you're a student out there, if you have any students out there watching this, a lot of them have student discounts that you can be using. Some of them tailor to students so specifically that they'll let students in for free.
no, but for real, like please do not let money discourage you, because there were times when even when I wasn't a student, like you hit somebody up as an organizer or whatever, you tell them that you don't quite got the bread, they'll send a little discount code or something. Like
it doesn't hurt to ask. And I know that's such a
But especially if you're a student, tap in. I'm sorry.
No, if you're an
First
early
of all, it's
business
already
owner,
heavily discounted. Second of all, you're the future of this. Like they really want to make sure you're good. So they'll make sure you're good.
if you're an early business owner and you're trying to get some mentors too, these conferences should be a write-off. So just big hack free. Like this is learning and development. It can be you can write this off. Like, come on. Like
shout out to the 1099 gang.
It should be. Not
Entrepreneurial
financial
gang.
advice, but it should be. Like I would do that. Not financial advice, but I would do that. But just saying, like you're learning and developing, it's important. Not financial advice. But yeah, no financial advice from me, but okay. A thought. Yeah, no, I love this combo. So let's maybe talk about some like ways in which to, we talked about one approach to gaining mentorship is like, we started out talking about IRL and online, because I said I follow a lot of people online that are my mentors and they have no idea who I am. But like, how about talking about the importance of like fostering that mentorship relationship? Because I think that part is key. I think what I don't hear enough conversation about is the mentor to mentee relationship and how to maintain that dynamic. And I think that that's the most important part in this industry, because this industry moves really fast. People change positions a lot. And when you maintain a solid relationship with your mentor in this industry, I have seen so many times. I have so many friends who are now execs who, my former boss, and anyone that knows me in real life knows, like, yeah, when you have a really solid mentor and you can maintain that mentor to mentee relationship, if your mentor is changing some things, like if they're shifting in another position and you put in the work, and they see that you've been working and they see that you're, building to get ready for your next opportunity. I've had a lot of friends, it's happened to me too, where like their mentor was like, I'm transitioning over here. I'm about to be the president of this company and I need somebody to run, this and that. Are you ready? Let's do this. So a lot of it too is like, don't just, pick up the phone and call your mentor when you need something, but really just be present. Always be a helping hand. You're always going to learn something from being a helping hand. Like that is so key in this relationship, like being willing to say like, hey, here's what I got from you, and not waiting to be told something, you know what I mean? But also understand that like, depending on who you're seeking out in a mentor, and this is the important part when it comes to defining who you want to be your mentor, sometimes it's not the best if you're trying to learn a lot to go for the highest person, because they don't have the capacity all the time.
Oh, you preaching on this fine Sunday.
Be a mentor. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they're so busy that it's like, that's why I say it's worth it to go to these free conversations like Lottie talked about and seek out the people that are in that room too, because they may have more capacity to just like be a little more present. But you have to be clear about those types of expectations that you want out of a mentor and mentee relationship. That's the reason why I give into the delusion. Like I can't reach out to all of these women that I call my mentors on social media. I already know they booked, busy, blessed, and traveling. And I know because I'm building my career, I don't even have the time all the time. And I'm not even up there like that yet. I'm on my way, but like, so I know if I'm struggling with the time, I have to be realistic about my expectations from my mentor. Like, okay, I can't be mad if it takes her a little bit to get back to me, or it takes him a little bit. Most of my mentors are actually men. I work with a lot of men actually. That's interesting. But yeah, it takes some time for them to get back to you. And that's just what it is. Like there's a reason why you want them to be your mentor. They're busy too. So just keep that.
And I also want to add to this though. It's like a lot of the times, depending on like the level of mentorship and how often you check in, sometimes it's not even necessarily ask for anything or to see what they need. It's sometimes just to give them updates. Like, hey, like I just did this thing. Like, I think this is something that might be interesting to you. We'd love to hear more about like what's going on in your world. Check-ins are important. Like, don't feel like it has to be like, oh, this, like a sweet, quick thing. If you were in an article, or if you wrote an article, or if your artist did something or whatever, it's like, just keep them in the loop. Because you never know, because sometimes that might pique their interest and give them ideas for something. Maybe they're talking to someone that is working on something that's farther ahead than whatever you're working on. There's so many ways that you can get plugged in just by a quick update.
Truly. And sometimes it can happen, it doesn't have to be anything super drawn out. I always give, this is my note to anybody that's entering into this industry, and I give this across the board. It doesn't matter if it's mentorship or if it's networking. Set, quarterly check-ins, and not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be a phone call, but like you should be checking in with people quarterly. So like if you met somebody, that you're like, I want to build a mentor-mentee relationship, because it doesn't always happen off the bat. Like sometimes you kind of have to cultivate it the same way we were talking about in one of our former episodes, like cultivating that relationship before you just start making asks and things like that. Like sometimes you have to cultivate it a little bit and let a person get to know you, because you have to remember, just because you want somebody to be your mentor, they're specific with their time. So they may want to know a little bit more about you before they determine, like, am I going to take you on as a person who I'm mentoring as my mentee? Like, are you really serious about this? Because my time is my time. And I need to, if I'm going to be giving into you, I need to know you're going to actually be delivering and doing the work and this and that and this and that. But set those quarterly reminders to follow up with them so that they can see, like just send it. You could set a reminder in your calendar, like, okay, check in 4 months. Like I will try and I'll send a note. Sometimes it's just a text, depending on which person it is. Sometimes it's an email. Sometimes I'll reach out to their assistant because I already know the name of the game. I'm like, well, it's better if I just reach out to your assistant and get on your calendar, because I know if I'm waiting on you to respond, you probably won't see my email. Your inbox probably has 1,000 unread. So I'll reach out to their assistant, see if I can set up a Zoom or something. So that would typically look like, I guess in this advice, I would say like a January, June, like May, June, October, November, and then like a quick note by the end of the year, kind of thing. Or you can stagger that a different way. I'm sure I'm missing something on the quarter part, but you get what I'm saying?
No,
It's
you're not wrong. That's
4
perfect.
times a year type of thing. If you can't have it as consistent, if it's like someone that you're still building a relationship with and you can't just jump on the phone with them, at least trying to set time to just be like, hey, I just would love to hear about what you're working on. If there's anything I can help with, here's what I got going. Just wanted you to know from our last combo, here's the advice you gave me. Here's how I took it and applied it.
Wait, no. Okay, so this is big, right? A lot of the times when you're seeking out a mentor, it's because you want certain advice for things that you're building. So if they give you that advice and you apply it, follow up and tell them what the results were of applying. Like, that's gonna make their whole day. Like,
one, mainly because we like to believe, like, okay, yes, there are people who are experts at things. I personally don't call myself an expert at anything, because I am personally going to always be learning and growing. And once you reach the level of expert, it's kind of like, dang, is there still room for growth? Is there still room for learning? I don't know. Some people think about it different, but I say that to say it's important to let them know when you took their advice and that it worked, because everybody needs to be reaffirmed that they know what they're talking about. Don't think that imposter syndrome stops sometimes that is all the way up there at the top, but like just to view that reaffirming, like, hey, you told me to do this thing and here are the results that I got. And sometimes I've had this happen where I showed a mentor the results that I got and they were shocked that it went, like the results were far more vast than what they even thought it was going to be. So they're like, oh shit, damn girl, I told you. Yes, you told me to do this, and I did it. Look what happened. Me neither.
And they want to see you win at the end of the day, right? It's like, share those wins. That's going to make them feel really good.
Through and through. I love it. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think, like, if there are any, I'm trying to think if there's any music and media. You mentioned one. What's it called? Get Connected, I think you said. You mentioned one.
It's called Girl Connected.
Connected.
The thunder is nuts, right? It's raining in New York. So it is thundering.
Sorry. It is not raining in LA.
Anyway, so it's called Girl Connected. And it's definitely something that I very much recommend everyone check it out. The founder her name is Lola. So if you look her up on IG, it's I think LUV Lola. But I could also send all this stuff on social media later. But yeah, so that one's a really good one. There's so many different things. So I actually was a mentor myself with a program called 1520 Vision.
Oh,
So
dope.
shout out to Steph, who is the one, Stacy, sorry, oh my God, who had kicked that off and just made it, it's such a cool opportunity for me to kind of like dip my feet. I was actually afraid to do it because I was like, I don't know how to be a mentor. I'm still learning, but you actually can be a mentor as you are still learning, as we all are continually learning.
Those are the best mentors.
So 1520 Vision is fire. You can find them on IG, but also on LinkedIn. That's where she's really, really active. And she's just such an incredible asset in the game. So tap in with her if you're looking to get involved with that. Stacey Morales, she's the sweetest person. And she's like killing it on TikTok. She's Gen Z. So it's like, it's the whole
I love that.
TikTok. Besides that, I think Finessed Media is amazing. Shout out to Alexi. So I'm mentioning a lot of like women of color because like we just be out here running this shit. I don't know what to tell you. But it's so good. Also the Digilog, which is Drew DeLeon, amazing. And a lot of these different organizations have just a ton of resources and like podcasts, all this content. Because again, like mentorship isn't necessarily talking to someone one-on-one. Sometimes just learning from people's experience. I'm a podcast girl. Not even like audio. I love like watching them. It's like they're telling their story. They're talking about all their experience. I'm like, oh my God, it's so dope. Because again, any way that you can learn from people that you're, and also the cool thing about that is when you finally do meet them, you could be like, I love when you talked about this on, like, I don't know, Ebro or whatever, or Zane Lowe. And they're like, wait, like you actually took time out of your day to watch that and retained it. That's a great way to get the shoe in with mentorship. Not gonna hold you. Just like read their books, read their articles.
Let people know that you're learning from them.
And interact on social. And the crazy thing is there are so many people that I look up to who I've never met, who I've never gotten a phone call with, but like we follow each other on social media just because I was like, yo, this is so dope. Like, I can't believe your artist dropped this. Like, this strategy was so cool, yada, yada, yada. Like, again, anything that affirms the things that they're doing to the point where they're like someone who, because here's the thing, a lot of times when people work with artists, people don't give a damn about them. They give a damn about the artists. So when you're someone who's an upcoming creative or executive who actually cares about the executive surrounding that artist, they're like, oh, bet. Like, it's not like, oh, you're just a fan or you're just this. You're like, oh, you're actually like out here trying to do this. That's cool.
1,000%.
And they want to see more people who are going to be like them, right? The future of all this stuff. So.
Oh, 100%. That part. Oh my God. The reason why it's so important to reach out and let people know when you're learning from them, let people know like when you're inspired by them and all of that is because a lot of people, I will say for some of my like mentors, the ones that know me, the ones that don't, like a big part of their ethos and their mission, and it's why they align with me is because it's a big part of my mission is to help other people get into the industry is so gay kept. Like the industry is so gay kept. It's so hard to navigate. Like, come on, like
in both music and media.
And it doesn't music, media, entertainment, and let's be real, sports too. All of it. Like
sports
it is
too. Oh, and this is also
so
why
incredibly
people
hard to
say,
navigate.
oh, your network is your net worth.
If you don't know, you literally don't know, and you can make a ton of big money, big career, big reputation mistakes because you just don't know. And it's not like there's some like freaking directory where you can just go, like it's just not clear like that. So letting people know when you're learning from them is a big thing because a lot of people, especially, when you're learning about them and you're approaching them to be mentors in whatever capacity, at the conferences, at the, wherever it is, like letting them know that you've impacted them helps a lot. And it will, because that's what they're like, a lot of people's mission is to do just that. Like, for sure. I mean, I feel like there's so many times too, I think, where I say when it comes to this mentorship and you're trying to approach people and you're like, I don't know if I have anything to offer. Offer yourself. Offer your story. Come as you are And the reason why I say this, and people argue with me on it, whatever, you got to come to people and you got to have all of this stuff. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. You do, but come as you are, because there were so many times where I was in those spaces and I was in those rooms and I didn't know how to navigate those types of settings because I didn't know until I got in them. I didn't learn how to be corporate until I got into corporate. So I would be like, yeah, I'm from LA, I'm from Compton and Inglewood, respectively. Like, I don't have access to this industry in that way. I don't come from a lot of resources. So I'm really just learning it. And just me being honest and authentic and being like, look, I'm a girl from the hood, bro. Like, I need help. People would be like, you know what? Your story is dope. So just because of your story, just because you came in here and you were willing to say you don't know what you're doing, I'm willing to help you figure it out. So just come as you are. It
That
gets you so much
passion.
further. Man, I'm telling you, that's all I could say. That's what I did. All I can do is tell y'all how I've approached it. And I'm sure there are probably better ways, but I just be telling people like, I don't know, I need help.
Right.
I literally tell them I'm looking for a mentor. And if they're like, I can't do it, I'm like, no harm, no foul. I get it.
But you can also still stay in touch. I just want you to say, just want to say one thing. Someone turning down mentorship doesn't mean that, you know, they're blocking you or whatever. It's just like they know what their capacity is to handle certain things and they don't want to let you down. So like don't take it personally if someone's like, I don't want to or I can't or whatever.
They can't do that. They
can
may not
still
have the
stay in
capacity.
touch. Especially if they've given you their contact info, you could still stay in touch with them, right? Just like, you know, like she said, quarterly is one of the best ways to do it with any updates. Or if you see like an interesting article in Billboard or whatever. Or here's the thing, if I see somebody again, like they're awarded as like a power player, they won a Grammy, whatever, they gonna get an email or something from me just with the congratulations. Like there's so many ways you could touch base. I've hit people with a happy birthday. Like any way that you can touch base on a regular basis, make sure to do that. But also keeping up with folks on social media. Anybody who I'm trying to get to know, I got them notifications on because I want to make sure I know whenever they post whatever. The way these algorithms are set up nowadays, or Instagram, Twitter, you don't see anything. So if there's someone who I really look up to, I really aspire to be like, and I want to make sure that I'm on their radar, those notifications gonna be on because I'm gonna know when you tweet. I'm gonna know when you post, whether it's on LinkedIn and Instagram, I'm gonna know. And it doesn't have to be any like weird, like creepy stuff. It's just to kind of keep up and know what's happening in their world. So that way, when you do happen upon them, that can be the conversation starter or whatever.
Remember the humanity in everybody, y'all. You know, like I said, you can see people at different levels of expert and this and that. They're still human beings at the end of the day. So give them their flowers. When they inspire you, let them know. When you learn from them, let them know. When you see they had a real life event that's worth noting, reach out. Like, I don't know where there's this weird notion these days that we can't do that for some reason, which is so weird to me. I'm like, bro.
Everybody is like afraid to be a fan, which is so funny to me because we're literally all in music and media because we're fans of the stuff.
I'm like, hello, do you not want to work with artists that you think are dope?
Let's be for real. We're all fans, and that's okay. It's not a derogatory thing.
I'm a fan.
I'm a big fan. I don't care. Like,
I don't.
I'm a big fan. I will never hide it. Anyone who follows me, they know the artists I like. They know I am a fan.
No, look, let me tell you. This is my favorite thing about this is one of my favorite things about working in this industry. And this is the reason why I say just come as you are and let people be how people gonna be, because at the end of the day, you can't let other people's stuff change you, right? I am so big on, ever since I started working in this industry, I take my mom and my dad, we kind of switch off, but anytime I go to a red carpet event, a premiere, anything like that, I take one of them as my plus one. And so I took my dad with me to, maybe it was an Oscars thing or something. I don't know what I took him to. And just seeing my 70-year-old dad navigating the space, and he's just going up to these celebrities. He's like, yo, man, I saw the movie. You did such a great job. You know, you really killed that character, man. I don't know if you were there. And it just was like, in the beginning, I'll be like, but then I would see them. I learned this from, my dad is not in the industry in any capacity, way, shape, or form. He is.
Which is the most fun, when your parents don't even know what's going on.
They have no clue. No, like he is not in the industry in any way, shape, or form, but he just loves to watch it. And I learned it from watching my dad do it. Like my dad, we're in a room of like very quote unquote important people. And he's just in there talking to them, what? Like they're human beings. He's giving people their flowers and making that posh environment seem so much less posh. He's going up to them like, I loved how you did this and this and that. And it wasn't fanboyish. It was just very much like, I just want you to know that I saw you. And their reaction to him made me be like, oh yeah, we should, duh, you should totally do that. And that's a good way to like, and so then they're like, oh yeah, thank you so much. Who are you? Oh my God, I appreciate that. Let me know if you ever need it. And it's like, these are the ways that you build those types of relationships,
Right.
mentorship, all of it, networking, all of it. Just be you, come as you are. And remember that these are people too, like they deserve flowers. Hold on, let me look at the chat. What's going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in with us live.
How did you find info on the team? Google professional networks. That's a good, hey, Boss 2.0. That's a really good question.
That's a really good question.
Questions right now. So there's a lot of different, I can definitely speak to, there's a lot of different platforms that you can use. So I'm gonna just throw out some of them and we can probably put this out on social media later, but on the TV film / music front, because it happens across the board. And like, if you're interested in like media, so you want to look up who's behind, like, let's say Don Lemon's team, or, we're talking about, you could do it for Rihanna, because Rihanna's done some TV film too. You could do it on a lot of different people. There's a program or a website called IMDb Pro. There's a free version of it, and then there's a like paid version of it. You could pay for it through Amazon, or you could pay for it through the platform itself. That is a place where people go to look up people's teams. So like, for example, you will go on there and you type in, whomever the person is, and it'll list every single thing, their resume. It basically operates as like a digital LinkedIn for creatives, people in the industry, music, TV and film. So you go on there and you can look them up, and it'll show like who's their agent, who's their manager, who's their attorney, who's their publicist. And then it'll show all of the different people that were involved in any of the projects that they had ever been on or been involved with. And it'll sometimes, depending on who the artist is, like Rihanna's might show, Issa's definitely will show like the agent, even broken down to like music agent, like commercial agent, like literary agent and things like that. And it'll show you like, it may not have, and then they have a profile on there too. So it may not necessarily have their email address and stuff like that, depends, but it'll definitely let you know who they are. So that's a big site. And then also Variety is another like music, TV, film magazine, and like editorial, published, all of that good stuff. And so they also have like on their site, like you can go on there and kind of look at things. Lottie mentioned Billboard as a like Billboard, Deadline,
The Hollywood Reporter,
Variety, all of those like
are like my main ones. I
those are the
frequent
main
those
ones
daily.
Yeah, you should.
Honestly, you should be subscribed to these things. Like
that's what I was about to say, right?
In your inbox, you should be following all of these people on social, like, or these like publications on social. One of the easiest ways to be tapped in is just to every morning, I'm reading about this. Like
they send you and they send you emails throughout the day
at this point.
Yeah, they send emails,
and even throughout the day, because things are always changing. Things are always
every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes. So it'll definitely,
you gotta be knowledgeable.
Definitely. I would say a hack, if you don't want your email inbox to get too chaotic, because they send you a lot of emails, I would say create an email account that is specific to those subscriptions, and you just, set a reminder to check it every day. Just scroll through, and that way your inbox doesn't get cluttered, because it's a lot of notifications.
It's a lot, sweetheart.
Yeah, working in the industry.
I have a filter on my subscriptions at this point, because
you have to. If you're going to work in music, media, entertainment at all, you kind of have to stay in the know of the trades and what's going on, just because it's helpful to understand like strategy, who's doing what, who's getting booked for what, who's getting paid for what teams are doing what, this and that. And so being subscribed to those are like major, and they give you a lot of insight. So for example, like if Rihanna was doing the Super Bowl, like they had a lot of different articles that would come out, and those would be put out by her publicist. So on the like, as you know, when you read an article, like it'll say who credited what, like who wrote it, who did this, who did that. And in a lot of the articles, especially in Hollywood, we did it across the board for music, artists, TV, and then film. Anytime there's an article about a music artist or an actor or a writer or director or whatever, like it will have their team credited on there. So it'll be like, so-and-so is represented by, you know, this company and that agency and that label and that, you know, whatever. So looking through those things can be super helpful when you're trying to really find out like who's behind these people, for sure.
I love that tip for sure. Because a lot of people like don't sleep on IMDb Pro too, Billboard Pro.
Huge.
Like sometimes it's worth paying for a little subscription. Like
no.
Gonna hold you. Insider is worth paying for. Like they have some great insights.
And to clarify, like when we're talking about Billboard Pro, IMDb Pro, like the way it's set up, it literally is like LinkedIn, like it is a resume basically for them.
A database.
It has their picture.
You know,
sometimes it depends. The execs have to kind of put their picture on there, but like, say for example, you're at an event, like I have it on my phone. Like I will go on IMDb and be like, oh shoot, wait, let me make sure. Is that who I think it is? That's the exec that did the movie. Okay, she was the producer behind. Got it. Okay, now I know. So before I'm going into a conversation of networking or something, I actually know what I'm talking about type of thing. It's really, really, really helpful. Like, I don't say pay for a lot of
behind the scenes people. I'm telling you, it's so clutch because they don't necessarily expect people to know them unless you're in the industry. So if you're not if you're still like aspiring or, you know, a rising executive and you know them and you know that they're accomplished, they're like, oh, you did your research. That's dope. They're already more inclined to talk to you. Like I'm telling you, it's so worth it knowing these things.
It's also, if you go, so like, if you're interested in the media industry, for example, you're trying to become a journalist or, you know, you're trying to do some form of like influencer stuff like that. Like some of these agencies, and same on the music thing too, like some of the labels and things like that, if you go on their site, they show you who all of their clients are. So that already kind of lets you know, and then you can do your research backwards from there. So like, if you're like, I'm really inspired by, you know, how Saweetie's team handles all of her like rollouts and things like that, or Chloe Bailey's team had like just all of those different things, or I'm really super fascinated by, you know, like how the Trevor Noah's team is handling all of the transitions in his career as a journalist and as all of these different things. Like, that is a really good way of being like, okay, wait a minute, let me look up where is Trevor represented? And then from there, you can see like, okay, Trevor's here, or, you know, Saweetie is here, or whoever is here. Now let me look for execs, and you can find that on LinkedIn and stuff like that, just so that you're getting some like lay of the land of like who are the key players and understanding like what their journey was, because that gives you a lot of insight too into this whole like mentorship conversation. Sometimes you gain so much more insight just from doing that research that's how they become your mentors, because you're like, I just did all this research just to discover that you were behind all of these different things. Just me doing the research, you've mentored me because I've learned so much about your process. So kind of
facts. Facts. And again, between like their interviews, either written or visual or podcast, whatever, so much is learned. And that also helps you low key. And I know I said there's no such thing as stupid questions, but it also helps you not ask stupid questions. Because sometimes it's like, oh, how did you meet, you know, Doja Cat to work with them? They've talked about that. Like
in a million
do your research. A lot of the things that you're asking about, they've been said it. So to be able to ask the right types of questions, you need to do your research and you need to like,
and not only that, you could
how did you get started? You know how they got started. They literally it's somewhere out there. And a lot of times if they're doing a panel, they've already talked about that on the panel.
Yes. A lot of your main questions, that's my thing. That's the reason why I say do the research. A lot of your main questions that you may have are probably, the answers are probably already out there from the person you're looking to make your mentor, just from their like,
and that's also
podcast interviews,
connections. Actually, so one of the people who's a more recent mentor, I realized that we went to the same college.
Oh, like, that's a big one.
I went for undergrad and he had went for like his master's or like his business degree. And I was like, oh, okay, perfect. That type of tie, if you have the same like fraternity, sorority, you want from the same hometown, whatever, people love. The amount of times I've seen people be like, I'm from the same city as you. They're like, let's exchange numbers. Like they are ready to chat, especially if it's a small town.
I was just about to say that.
Are ready to put other people on. Like, seriously,
Listen, I'm gonna
That's
say
why
this.
it's so important to find
It's
those
so
common
important.
threads. Listen.
Because look, let me tell you this. This is the craziest part. From LA, but me being from LA has gotten me so much further than I thought it would, because I'm like, I'm from LA, so I just it just is what it is. The thing that I hear the most from people in the music and media industry is, wow, you're actually from LA? I don't know many people from LA. I'm like, huh?
No,
Like,
it's facts.
you
Like, I
have no
know when
idea.
I was living out there, I mostly need transplants. So that's very real.
So that's why I say just come as you are. You went to some small liberal arts school somewhere. That's okay. You never know. Like, it might be somebody else there that, or in the industry that's like, oh my God, I don't know anybody that went to our alma mater. Yes, I'll look out for you. I'm sure, like, we're good. Like, it's okay. So I just say, yeah, come as you are and you'll be solid. Like, finding that mentor, you'll be solid. I hope that answered your question. Oh, IMDb Pro, big tip, had no idea.
Oh, and also one last thing I want to add to that, and this is completely free, and you could do this literally today. Look at who they follow. So a lot of the times, so there are certain celebrities, they ain't following nobody. Okay, that's fine. But there are others who they might have like 1,000 people in their follower list. You can scan through and see who is like, oh, they're following their manager. Oh, they're following this, that, and the third. That's how I found a lot of people. Hashtags, whatever. It's honestly not hard. You can go to Chat GPT. First of all, I use Chat GPT every day. This is not sponsored by OpenAI, but if they're looking to sponsor, they can. Chat GPT, ask them, hey, who is on the team of this artist, of this, producer, of this whoever? It will tell you.
Shut up, for real?
It will tell you. So ChatGPT knows stuff up until the last 2 years. So if stuff changed in the last 2 years, it's not gonna know. But Google is gonna tell you. You tap in and see who so-and-so is A&R, what label they sign. First of all, if you know anything about like the label and management company, you can find the people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
all you got to know is the main company. Then you could cross-reference.
And honestly, a lot of times the comments too, somebody's A&R always gonna be in the comments. They always gonna like listen,
digging you up.
And
Facts.
for the most part, if it's like a major label, they've been a power player on the Billboard list at some point. It's low-key so easy to find these things.
That's true.
Hits, Daily Double, Hit DD, they always will say exactly the name of the person, who they've worked with, the company they're from. These publications be spilling a lot of the tea that you need. You know who they are, you know who's on their roster. That's more than enough to be able to tap in. Mm-hmm. And once you follow, between say 30 and 100 execs, they're all friends. The amount of times I've seen people interact and be like, wait, that person knows that person, and this person.
Story of my life.
It's the whole thing. You find out who went to college together. You find out who was childhood friends. You find out who worked on projects together. And it's so really cool just seeing how small the industry is and how people are so interconnected.
Everybody knows everybody.
The amount of times I work with certain people and that connect me to somebody else, and I wasn't even looking for any of that. I was just minding my business, just trying to see what was good with them, and then they introduce you to so and so, and then it's a whole thing. It's a whole beautiful spider web, and I love it. I love going down a rabbit hole. Wikipedia too. Let me tell you something. So I'm a huge Rihanna fan. Shout out to the Rihanna Navy in the building. I needed to know, how in the hell did she become this superstar? Obviously, I knew, yes, okay, Def Jam, whatever, very vaguely, Rock Nation, whatever. But if you want to know who was behind it, just read the Wikipedia. It will tell you, founded by this, signed by this person executive produced the project. You look at the credits, you see who the producers are. There's so much. Genius, shout out to Genius, because Genius will tell you every damn body. Shout out to Tidal, they will tell you every damn body that was involved with the project.
The credits. Oh my God, yes.
The credits.
Pay attention to the details.
I'm trying to know respectfully. Yes, the celebrity's cool, they're great, they're fantastic. But I'm like, who is this person behind these things? And a lot of times when you're interested, especially on the business side, getting involved in certain things, you need to know who the person was behind that made that particular part happen. Like, for instance, Rhyver, she's a producer. You think she don't know all the different producers, like whoever's on their teams, whatever? You gotta know. You got to know, because even the behind the scenes people have teams. You think the artist has teams?
Makeup artists have teams. Hairstylists have teams.
Hello. They got interns. They got
Stylists have teams.
got,
casting directors have teams.
Come on.
When I tell y'all, that's why I said it's so important to learn who's like, if y'all are inspired by somebody, don't stop there, because they're also learning and growing with a team of people too. Most people who are successful in this have had a team. And I'm talking
team members
hairstyle. I literally kid you not. Hairstylists and wardrobe stylists and makeup artists.
Yeah.
Have
they're not doing it alone. They have assistants. And also the other thing about credits, your favorite celebs nowadays that it's cool to give credit, they will give you an entire list and tag everybody in that Instagram post. Tiana Taylor does this, Doja Cat does this. They will tell you every single body, down to the assistants, whoever was holding the camera, every single person you holding the light, you getting credited. It's crazy.
Give people they flowers. Listen. Y'all know, if you've worked with me, you know, you're going to be credited.
The credits are important. And that's where the gems are.
I love it. I love it. I love that y'all are, the chat is going up, by the way. People have questions. It's been good. I love that. Yes. If y'all have any more questions, please feel free to throw them in. I know we gave y'all some gems to like really marinate on, but yeah. If you have any more questions, I'm seeing y'all in the chat, like y'all are taking notes. So I love it. But for sure, don't let mentorship is super dope. I feel like the word itself, you know, sometimes it can be a little daunting, but like I said, give into the delusion. In the words of Lottie, I'm quoting Lottie on that, like give into the delusion. You don't always have to have like a verbal to verbal interaction with somebody for them to be your mentor. However, I do recognize it can be helpful, but in the interim, do that research. It's all in the details for sure.
Guys,
like do the
research. Take this seriously. What we're talking about, mentorship from afar. I actually learned about this concept like very specifically from an incredible executive who has her own company, Olivia Radensky. She was someone who started out as a fan, had a Miley Cyrus blog and fan page, and then eventually ended up working for her officially on her team. I am telling you, do not be afraid to stand. If you're passionate about a certain celebrity or a certain executive, certain whatever, that can get you a job. And that's gonna be another episode. But I'm just saying, like, be very vocal and open about the things that you admire and the people that you admire and the projects that they work on. Because the way social media is set up, you are one tweet, one Instagram post, one LinkedIn post away from that person or someone who knows that person getting tapped in with whatever you're doing. It's actually insane. Insane. And I know this from experience, by the way.
Yeah, so now that you said that, yeah, we need to have
letters, like to have the person that you're writing about be like, yo, I love that you did. I'm like, that'll have you so shook.
No, we need to.
The blog era is coming back, by the way.
We gonna revamp that. That's a whole combo in itself. You're right. We're gonna revamp that. The power, from fan to
Yeah, we gonna talk about that.
We gotta talk about that. It's
a real thing. So like, please do not be embarrassed to be a stan. Listen, you can check my Twitter right now. You are going to know who I stan. You are going to know, because I will talk about the artists I like on a daily basis. I don't care. You're not gonna make me feel embarrassed about that. I'm not embarrassed about that. That's the reason why I do this.
Look, it's like, how can you be? They're dope.
Hello?
Ain't nothing to be embarrassed about. They're dope. I love it. Well,
any more questions, comments, concerns?
That's what I'm saying. If there's no questions, comments, y'all know what the vibes are. You know where to find us. Thank y'all so much for tuning in here. Y'all are always so interactive. I love it.
We appreciate you. And as y'all know, these episodes only live on Twitch for up to 2 weeks. So if you haven't caught the last one, you better watch that one within the next couple of days before it goes ghost. Watch this one. Share it with your friends. We will be uploading the episodes to YouTube shortly. So make sure you tapped in. You can find us every damn where. We on YouTube, we on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. And we're going to be updating those a lot more regularly. So make sure you are following and tapped in.
Okay. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining us today. This was fun. We love the mentorship combo. Are we gonna have them vote again? Are we gonna do another vote?
Yeah, we're gonna do another vote. We're gonna do another vote, IG stories and Twitter, for you guys to let us know what you want to discuss.
All right. So we'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks for hearing us out.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.